Many women who are newly diagnosed with breast cancer worry about offending their oncologist by asking for a second opinion. I'd like to turn that around today and have you think about what the mission is here. And that is making the most informed decision you can for yourself. There's nothing wrong, there's nothing insulting at all about asking for a second opinion. We do it all the time in everyday life. I mean, from finding plumbers and carpet cleaners to getting referrals for a good family doctor or a dentist. So, where is there even one good reason for hesitating to get a second opinion when what we're talking about here is the rest of your life? Besides, when you get right down to it, there is so much they have yet to learn about breast cancer and how it works in the body. So I feel it's extremely critical that every woman who's diagnosed understands that she deserves the reassurance of going to different medical oncologists until she's satisfied with what she hears. And then, if they all tell you essentially the same thing, well, at the very least, you can feel better about what they're recommending. But here's the other upside. Now you've got three doctors to choose from. So not only are you getting the best treatment that they all could recommend for your particular case, but you get to choose the doctor you have the most affinity with. And it's really important to have a doctor that you can have a good relationship with. Because as stressful as it might seem to go for a second or even a third opinion and then worry about the possibility of getting three different opinions, well, at the very least, even if that were the case, you would know more than you did before, and then you could sift and sort the information and make the best possible decision for you. And as I said before, if it's all the same, well, now you get not only to choose your favorite doctor, but look at it this way, the odds are really on your side. You see, cancer specialists, they're very, very busy. And although they would love to be able to constantly be sifting and sorting and evaluating the latest studies, well, if you dig in and do some extra research, you just might unearth something that they hadn't heard of yet. And not only would that be beneficial for you, but it could be beneficial to other patients. So, any good oncologist would welcome that sort of thing and respect the fact that you're doing some extra digging. And, in a world where there's so much uncertainty anyway, um, it's incumbent on you to really make sure that the treatment you choose is the best that's available at the time. And that's why you owe it to yourself to get as many opinions as you feel you need in order to feel comfortable and confident with the advice you're getting. Because there'd be nothing worse than going through your treatment and always second guessing yourself. So don't hesitate. Don't worry about offending your doctor. This is your life we're talking about. And if I haven't done a good enough job in convincing you that, let me just tell you a little story. He was a very astute oncologist who I interviewed a while back. He was also very heavily involved in quality of life research with the World Health Organization, and that deals with a lot of psychosocial issues, including the anxiety of asking for second opinions and such things. And he says, there's absolutely nothing wrong with reassuring yourself with either a second or a third opinion. He says, or even if you want to, question your doctor till he's blue in the face, or asking for, a ton of extra reading material. And he also made this wise suggestion. He says, you also might want to enlist the help of your family physician, because in the digging up of this information, in the going for the extra opinions, you're going to unearth more information than not only could you handle, but more complex information. So the doctor, your family doctor, could kind of serve as a sounding board and as a translator for you for that particular situation. And he then told me a story that I'd like to share with you. He said one day this woman walked into his office. She was devastated by her diagnosis. She was highly anxious. And then she looked him in the eye as best she could. And she said, I'm about to say something that I don't know whether I should or not. I would really like to have a second opinion, and I feel so terrible. I feel so guilty for even asking. Are you offended? You know, and if I ask for a second opinion, are you not want to treat me? And he said, you know, her speech, you know, was all broken up, and he really felt for her. So he just looked at her and completely turned the tables on her by making her think of something totally out in left field and normal, which was really good for her anxiety. He said, well, you know, when was the last time that you bought a refrigerator? It kind of took her back, and then she says, well, you know, interestingly enough, I bought one 3 or 4 months ago. And then he says, how many prices did you get? She says, gee, I got 3 or 4. So she started to, you know, shift in her emotional state. And he said without missing a beat, well, what's more important, your refrigerator or your life? And he said for the first time during that entire appointment, she smiled. She got the message. And the point he was making to her, and the point that I hope you'll take home, is don't feel bad about asking for another opinion, a second or a third. Don't feel bad about asking questions. It's your life. But then also realize that after you do your gathering, you do your analyzing, that at some point you just got to take the information and go with it. Realize that you've done all you can, you've done the best you can, so now just have faith that all will be well. It's so important for your healing. God bless.